the ball to Jeremy Langford. Over 1,400 yards a year ago, 18 touchdowns, a lot of catches, or a lot of rushes to set up the deep play action game.
Michigan State won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Troymaine Pope and Jaron Johnson are back. Off is Kevin Cronin, the sophomore for the Spartans. Out of the end zone, it is Pope, and Pope gets wrapped up and hammered at the 11-yard line.
Mike Trussell, you look at him, special teams coach. He gets the guys flying down there. Good coverage units for Michigan State. They feel good about their special teams, off to a good start.
They place the football just shy of the 12. The starting quarterback, Eli Jenkins, and Jenkins started all 14 games last year. This is a team that lost in the FCS playoffs at Eastern Washington. Out of the shotgun. Jenkins rolling, looks deep, fires, has a man wide open. And the freshman record last year for Jacksonville State with 58 catches. And how about that?
Blown coverage by Michigan State. Hey, Darquez Denard has gone to the National Football League. Darian Hicks getting tested early in his young college career.
And Shalik Calhoun came in there and was on the scene pressuring. And underneath, Bo Bremmel, a transfer from Butte College with the reception. A junior out of Arlington, Washington. So quick strikes here early on for John Grass.
You need great sideline etiquette to get the communication calls in against a high up-tempo offense like Jacksonville State.
And James is bottled up. DeMarcus James, his first carry, the senior from Demopolis, Alabama. Ohio Valley Conference preseason player of the year. And leaving is Trey Waynes with a cut just above his right eyebrow.
That is a big injury right there. We'll have to see if they can get that corrected. Harlan Barnett, the special teams coach for Michigan State, said that Trey Waynes could be the best corner to ever come out of Michigan State.
That is saying a lot considering how good Darquez Denard was for the Spartan team. Jenkins once again downfield, and he overthrows his intended target, Marquise Merrill. And that's going to bring down 4th down. And now it looks as though the helmet came off so easily there that
look, whether it's a fingernail to the forehead, something like that, obviously getting feisty. A lot of press man coverage by Michigan State. They are going to get aggressive and challenge Jacksonville State's receivers.
McGarrett Kings Jr. is back for Michigan State. Hamish McGinnis from Victoria, Australia is the punter. He's a 3-year starter and a fair catch around the 20-yard line for the Spartans. 30-yard punt as Waynes is getting attended to on the sideline. Connor Cook, and what a year. This time a season ago, he was not the starter. In fact, they would rotate through 3. Andrew Maxwell was the starter, and so for him a big adjustment. Now you come in as the number 1, but he said, interestingly enough, yesterday he felt an immense amount of pressure last year early on in the season.
Well, you like the position to declare itself by default. Eventually he took the reins, started to settle down, and the offense started to grow under his talents. He's got a big arm to throw it down the field and really minimize the turnovers. Only 6 interceptions a year ago for Connor Cook, a young quarterback.
22 touchdown receptions. Jeremy Langford there. Langford over 1,400 yards on the ground a season ago. 5th-year senior from Wayne, Michigan, out of John Glenn High School. And the give once again establishing that run early on for the Spartans. Devontae Sigler, a transfer from Auburn. on the stop.
Look at Jeremy Langford. He came to Michigan State. They tried him out at corner. They tried him out at receiver. We had a need at running back. Let's throw him at running back. Runs for over 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. Has faced tremendous adversity and is a tough, tough running back.
You see Michigan State throughout their roster as Tony Lippett moves the chains, and Lippett with the catch, the fifth-year senior from Detroit.
Little spot route right here. Got a guy to a flat. He reads. Nice read by Connor Cook. Sees the flat defender. Go to take the flat read. Dumps it in right into Lippett right behind. Good read by Connor Cook.
When you go get athletes, you can utilize them at various positions and see which one clicks, and they do that here, Jim.
And, hey, Mark D'Antonio is giving a lot of credit. He's maximized the potential of a lot of players. They've been two-way players, and Tony Lippett's another one. What a play right here.
Look at this down the sideline. Lippett. There is a flag. There was a late hit on Connor Cook, and he is coming off the field.
He's limping. You wonder if
it's a low hit under his knee. Watch it here. That is dangerous. What a catch by Tony Lippett down the sideline.
Number 1. A 15-yard penalty being enforced on the kickoff.
And Rashad Byers, the senior from Duval, Florida.
And it did not look pretty.
No.
Great concentration by Lippett. You see it. It's an out-go. He realizes Connor scrambled, so you turn it up. It's scramble rules in this situation. Focuses on the football, juggles it a little bit. Nice play by Tony Lippett to finish the drive.
And Connor Cook being assisted coming off of the bench. Michael Geiger is on. And he was not out of bounds. It is a touchdown. Geiger for the extra point. Lippett with the touchdown. The extra point is good. 7-0 Michigan State. And unfortunate
for football launching the touchdown pass to Tony Lippett, and that's where you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable as a quarterback in that situation, and certainly Spartan fans are holding their breath right now.
7-0 Michigan State. J.D. Williams is back, and that one sails through the end zone off of the right foot of Kevin Cronin. And here is the injury to Connor Cook coming in off of the edge. It was Folo Johnson.
And you see he's got a knee brace on already. It's one of the lightweight knee braces. Hopefully that can minimize the impact, but obviously you saw how nasty that hit was, and seems to be up and moving around. We'll see. Have to get an update and see if he's able to return to the game.
So 1st and 10 from the 25. On a keeper, Jenkins, no place to go. Ed Davis right there. Marcus Rush on the scene for the Spartans.
They're so good at reading spread option. And a lot of times, Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator, he's a high blitz volume, and it's really assignment football. The back on the fake, the quarterback, and be aware for the pitch. So good discipline by Michigan State.
A defense that lost 6 starters, all impact players. Jenkins down the middle of the field and through the fingertips of DeMarcus James, his running back.
He's a danger out of the backfield. For a running back to get 30 yards down the field, it'll test your middle backer. And certainly Twan Jones, just a little bit behind him in stride, might have dodged a bullet right there.
Twan Jones moving from the outside to inside. It's been an adjustment for him.
I think, you know, Max Bull was so good. He was the quarterback of the defense. He made all the defensive calls, and I don't think Twan Jones is versed in that yet. He's a speedier, more athletic linebacker, but certainly still needs to learn the volume of defense with Pat Narduzzi.
Empty backfield and a quick strike and a big-time hit by Curtis Drummond, and the pass is dropped by Josh Barge. Drummond comes over and lays the crushing blow.
And that's why the Michigan State defense and the team voted him captain of the secondary. He's an outstanding player, big-time hitter, has come up with big plays, and right there. And that's a nice job leading with the shoulder when you look at Curtis Drummond.
He has started now in 22 straight games. Hamish McGinnis is back inside his own 10. McGarrett Kings Jr. standing at the 35. Kings Jr. takes it inside the 30 and no place to go. Coming in is Pope to make the solo tackle.
That's dangerous. You almost might want to call for a fair catch right there. A lot of confidence thinking he can shake a tackle, but Pope doing a nice job in space. Open tackle.
Let's see if Connor Cook comes out for the Spartans. He is on the field. And that is a great sign if you're a Spartans fan.
It's a great sign, but you wonder if he's limited. Can you call movement plays, bootlegs, rollouts? We'll have to see as the game moves on.
Let's send it down to Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Yeah, and just watching him kind of work with the MSU athletic training staff, he had to do some weight pressure tests, obviously, on that knee. They took the knee brace completely off and didn't have it off for very long for an injury that looked like it could be pretty serious. Put it back on his knee. He did a couple throws, a couple drop steps and stuff, and it really didn't take him much evaluation to decide that he was good to go.
Cook under center. Andrew Gleichert in motion. Tony Lippett all by himself at the 30, at the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Spartans.
What a
the
read.
First series, a 64-yard strike and a 71-yard strike in the second series.
Well, the first good sign, he's running down to congratulate his wide receiver, so his knee must be all right. But what a great read by Connor Cook. It's a cowboy blitz. That means corner blitz, folks. And I think Rashad Byers, there was a mix-up in the Jacksonville State secondary. He exposes it, and this is what we talked about, Matt. He's expanded his mind. He understands the process of processing information, pre-snap read versus post-snap read. Really makes a great throw in diagnosing that corner blitz.
Michael Geiger, the extra point. 14-0. 2 plays, 72 yards, 46 seconds after a 71-yard hookup with Tony Lippett. Big time. Michigan State and Connor Cook. That knee's feeling good.
Free safety, Folo Johnson. Watch these guys. They both blitz off the edge. The safety, to me, Folo Johnson, if you sight adjust on a cowboy blitz, he's got to roll over. Tony Lippett exposes it. Obviously, Connor Cook seeing the whole field. That is a gasher and a mix-up by Jacksonville State.
146 yards for Tony Lippett. That is a career best. 3 catches for 146, 2 touchdowns. Cronin once again. And into the end zone, taken 1 step ahead by J.D. Williams. And folks, can't wait for this tonight. BTN Original brings you the story of the 2013 Big Ten and Rose Bowl champion Spartans. Hear from players and coaches about the magical run to Pasadena. It's Big Ten Elite 2013 to Michigan State football right after the game on BTN. This time last year, they weren't even in the top 25.
It's amazing when you've accomplished, and like you said, there were a lot of question marks at the quarterback position. You thought the defense was so strong. Eventually, it settled itself, and it did. And you credit Mark D'Antonio, his leadership, decision-making, obviously the heart of this football team.
8-0 in Big Ten Conference, playing a big-time stick, piled up and driven back as Darian Harris comes in from Silver Springs, Maryland, at a DeMatha High School. Look at that hit as he wraps him up.
Yeah, talk about assignment football. You saw right there, Ed Davis, he took the fake on the running back, and then, of course, Darian Harris fills. It's assignment football. He had the quarterback shoots the gap. That is a great tackle for no gain. Good wrap-up right there.
14-0. Michigan State. Jenkins to the air. And Barge once again his favorite target a season ago. And Barge has a first down.
Trying to loosen up the Michigan State secondary, create less numbers in the box in terms of their spread option game, and this is what they do. High up tempo. They want to run about 90 snaps in this ball game when you look at Jacksonville State.
28-yard pickup. Jenkins out of the shotgun. Has James in the backfield. He stays in as a blocker. This pass is picked off by Curtis Drummond. Drummond had 4 interceptions last season. He gets his first here of the 2014 season. 15-yard return for Curtis Drummond.
It's cover 2. I don't know what Eli Jenkins is looking at, and you look at Curtis Drummond, he was just eyeing the quarterback. John Harris still calling plays, even though he's the head coach. Felt very good about Eli Jenkins' decision-making. Very questionable right there. Curtis Drummond taking advantage of a bad pass.
You know, there's some that thought, would this be a Michigan State Spartan team that comes out tonight, and maybe they're looking ahead to Oregon next week and a pivotal non-conference matchup out in Eugene, Oregon, but they have been focused here early on.
Well, I think it's old cliche, one game at a time. This is a great test to face the Oregon Ducks. This is a high up-tempo offense with a lot of speed, and they're going to face a lot of snap counts. So I think defensively, with a lot of new starters, Michigan State looked at it as a nice test run.
Langford carrying the pile forward, and a pickup of 4 for Jeremy Langford. And the tackle made by Singler. This is a defense that features Chris Landrum, a transfer from Auburn. We mentioned earlier LaMichael Fanning, a transfer from Alabama. Also, they have Singler, transfer from Auburn. And so up front, that's Caleb Lawrence there, a senior. They have some players that have played for big-time programs. Cook, handoff, getting outside is Langford, and Langford down to the 32-yard line before Howe and Johnson reel him in.
Well, even with all that beef, Michigan State, they're known for their power play. They'll pull their guards, lead it up, and they go right after that SEC defensive line you just talked about, Matt. And so they feel good against any team at running the football, because there's only really one new starter on the offensive line for Michigan State. Well done, well executed.
8 straight 100-yard games for Langford out of the shotgun. Langford trying to cut it back inside, and Flolo Johnson and Endress are there. Ben Endress. 14-0. 8th-ranked Michigan State Spartans with 7:47 on the clock here in the opening quarter. Friday night under the lights at Spartan Stadium. Connor Cook. Second down to the air, and the pass is caught by Shelton.
Deep group of wide receivers for Michigan State. Shelton rolling in there, and they feel they've got 9 guys that they can utilize. You saw Tony Lippett in his speed. They've got the big guys like Keith Mumphrey that they can use, an A.J. Troop as red zone presence, and there you see another speedy receiver for Michigan State. Very good read. Soft coverage. You just dump it on a 3-step drop. Quick game working well for Michigan State.
R.J. Shelton, the sophomore. Probably their deepest position, wouldn't you say, Joe?
No doubt. They have a ton of speed and all different guys that can fill various roles.
Langford straight ahead on 3rd down. And did he get the first down, or does he come up short as Alan Carson, transfer out of Tennessee, another SEC school, is there. And it's going to bring up 4th down now for the Spartans. 4th down. And Cook.
Timeout. Michigan State, they're first.
lead
30-second
referee,
timeout.
Ron Snodgrass. 4th and 2, and a timeout here.
And I think they're going to, they'll make a decision. You go out there with your offense, try to draw the snap count long, maybe draw Jacksonville State offside, potentially get a cheap first down. A little miscommunication. The timeout came from the sideline as the center did snap the ball, but they get the timeout just in time to regroup and decide what they're going to do here. Opportunity to really take control of the game. You wonder if Mark D'Antonio is thinking about going for it in this situation. Most notably, we call no snap, no play. You try to draw the defense off sides, then you run the actual play called, and we'll see if that's in the playbook for Michigan State.
6:41 remaining. They have been sharp early. Fortunately for the Spartans, Connor Cook on that low hit by Bolo Johnson is going to be okay. And to attempt the field goal is Michael Geiger. Last season, 15 of 16. Michigan State single season record for field goal percentage. And this is wide left. He misses there as Geiger pulls it.
And it's going to obviously create great field position for Jacksonville State, but obviously want to go away with more points on the board right there.
Michigan State up 14-0. Seasons last year for his defense.
What he gets done in a 20-hour work week is amazing. Blitz zones, man-to-mans, to defensive stunts, twists, you name it. He makes it likable, learnable, and fun, and then you see the results. Outstanding since he's been the defensive coordinator at MSU.
Only school last year to rank in the top 3 in 4 major defensive categories. Total defense, rushing D, scoring D, as well as pass defense. Jenkins trying to keep it. Calhoun containing, and he sends him back right up the middle.
Well played. And it's really about discipline and technique. Watch Shalik Calhoun. See how his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage when he faces the quarterback. The minute you start turning your shoulders, that's when you're going to be in a jam defensively. Well played. Good discipline by Shalik Calhoun, the defensive player of the year a year ago.
Mylan Hicks with a tackle. Jenkins, no place to go as McDowell is right there. 14-0, the 8th-ranked Michigan State Spartans here from Spartan Stadium on a Friday night in East Lansing, Michigan. Matt Devlin, Jim Miller, Lisa Byington. Jacksonville State, located in the northeastern part of the state of Alabama. Jermaine Pope out of the backfield, and he drops it. Extremely successful FCS program.
Well, they are. They can dial up a lot of plays right there. That was actually the perfect call. They had a middle screen. Watch Michigan State. All see all the pressure. The offensive linemen are up the field blocking for the screen, the middle screen. And it looked like the ball got tipped just enough right there by Darian Harris to cause the trajectory to go off to the running back.
Hamish McGinnis once again as McGarrett Kings Jr. is back at his own 33. And he's going to leave this one alone as it takes a Spartan bounce, and then it was knocked to the 41-yard line before it is down. 14-0 here midway through this first quarter, and Connor Cook has been sharp early.
Accuracy on the move, takes the big hit. Look at the throw. Perfect placement, sets the table for Tony Lippett. Good effort getting in the end zone. Right here, reading the blitz. Defensive mix-up in the secondary. They blow the assignment. Connor Cook exposes them for another 79-yard touchdown to Lippett.
Nick Hill behind Pendleton, the fullback. And a Hill to run, turns it back inside, lowers the shoulder. And just shy of the 50-yard line as Folo Johnson comes in and makes a stop.
Very good. Nick Hill, he's kind of the change of pace back to Jeremy Langford. Has another gear to kick it and get some good yardage in terms of hitting the hole quicker, and it's not uncommon for Mark D'Antonio to roll in his backs early, get them both lathered, and he's going to use them because they want to use this formation later in the ball game when they're grinding out their 4-minute offense.
We talked to Dave Warner, offensive coordinator, as Lippett comes up with a catch inside the 40, and Lippett is out of bounds as Howe and Johnson are right there with 4:36 remaining in the first quarter. But Dave Warner talked about Nick Hill. He said he deserves to play. And how about Lippett?
I mean, it's just Lippett's speed. He turns the hips right there at Jermaine Huff, and it's really the threat to go deep is what had Huff worried. He turns his hips, and then you look at Lippett, puts his foot in the ground. Perfect curl route. Nice timing by Connor Cook to deliver the strike.
Handoff. And Burbridge turns the corner. And Michigan State with Aaron Burbridge out of Farmington Hills, Michigan, turning the corner.
Nick Hill giving it up right there, gets the lead block. And then you look at Gleichert. He's doing a good job setting the edge as well. Look at Travis Jackson, number 63 right there. There's the alley right there. Turns it up. Big run, but it's all due to the blocking up front by Michigan State.
15 yards. Cook under center. Nick Hill, the lone back. Cook in the air. A.J. Troop. A.J. Troop reels it in for the touchdown.
Matt, we talked about this in the monologue. Processing information. You just see the audible by Connor Cook. He realized they've got an 8-man box. Press coverage. A.J. Troop. Get to know this game. He was a walk-on last year. Had a knee issue. And now he comes in from Minnesota as a walk-on. He is a red zone threat. Connor Cook, great audible, great throw to a big receiver where only he can get it.
Over top Jermaine Huff, who's 5'10", A.J. Troop 6'2", 3 ACLs to the same knee. He has battled so much adversity. He comes in with a great leaping catch there, and Cook, his third touchdown here in this opening quarter. Geiger on. Extra point is good. It's now 21-0. And you look at the
Cook's
teammates,
excited. They're rallying around him. They're so happy for him for what he's come back from. Gets his first touchdown as a Spartan. He's got to be on cloud 9. And his teammates, you see, that's what happens on a team. You rally around one another. You pick a guy up when he's down. And now look at him. He's on cloud 9. And his teammates couldn't be happier for him.
J.D. Williams and Jaron Johnson are back. Cronin once again, 21-0. Williams wants to bring it out. Williams on the far side. Williams stepped up at the 15. And Michigan State all over him.
Swarming. 8 jerseys around the football. Mike Tressel, he preaches special teams units. They take a lot of pride in it. And there you see the results. 8 players around the football for Michigan State.
First play, 32 yards. And the last 12 plays, just 29 yards and a Curtis Drummond interception. Talked to head coach John Gross, Jacksonville State, and he said that quite possibly you'll see 3 quarterbacks tonight. The backup quarterback is Max Shortell, the Minnesota transfer, played in 9 games. That pass caught by Barge, and Drummond right there. 21-0 Michigan State. Bouncing outside is Jenkins, and Jenkins has a first down as R.J. Williamson comes in and gets the tackle.
Well, just when I talked about assignment football, Darian Harrison closes a little too much inside. That's how it gets outside for Eli Jenkins, leads to the run for the first down.
12-yard pickup and spinning with no place to go. James and Joel Heath and Shalik Calhoun right there on the play.
Well, so much it's about, you know, gaps, obviously leverage, all those things, but it's tough against spread attacks, as I mentioned, because you got to have that sideline etiquette to really get the defensive calls in on every single play that happens so quickly.
Second and long. And a timeout.
Timeout. Jacksonville State, their first 30-second timeout.
First timeout taken by Jacksonville State. Defense of Michigan State so potent.
Play of the game, Ellsworth going over the top, filling in for Max Bullock. Play of the game, gets the big stop, and they were smelling roses after that hit.
For the first time since 1988. And a defense that lost 6 starters. 13 wins, most in school history. The outright Big Ten champion for the first time since 1987. They win a Rose Bowl and rank 3rd, their highest final ranking since 1966. And talked about this in the open of the show, how with what went on with Braxton Miller at Ohio State. Prior to that, nobody was really talking about Michigan State, and you can tell they still have a chip on their shoulder. They feel as though they still have a point to prove.
Well, there's always going to be adversity in every season. There's going to be injuries, things you have to work through, just like the quarterback situation a year ago. It's how you address them, how you overcome them as a football team. You mentioned earlier about how Mark D'Antonio maximizes the talent on the Michigan State roster, and you also give them credit if they've pounded the pavement. They've recruited hard, and now they've got great athletes to fill those voids of losing great players like Darquez Denard, like Max Bullock. They're currently on the field tonight for Michigan State.
Nikos Allen as well. 3rd and long. Jenkins to the air. Jenkins intercepted by Darian Hicks, the sophomore.
It's just a shot play. And Darian Hicks, who's filling one of those big losses, and Darquez Denard, who was the Jim Thorpe winner a year ago. Look at the height. Plays the ball extremely well. Press man coverage. And then just goes up to the football at the highest point. That is an athletic play. And Darquez Denard, there's no doubt, he was one of the best corners in the country a year ago. Darian Hicks, they feel very good about his all-around ability to fill that void. And you get a good taste of it right there with that interception.
Marvin Lewis, so complimentary. The head coach of Cincinnati Bengals about Denard.
Well, people question Darquez Denard's top-end speed. And we brought it up tonight. Trey Waynes probably does have better top-end speed, but it's about the technique, how you play, and how productive you are within the system.
Langford looking for some room to the edge, turns the corner. And Langford stopped by Devarius Miller. And let's send it down to Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Matt, the MSU medical team really thankful that he has that knee brace on his left knee. He's never had any knee issues, but Michigan State puts a knee brace as a precautionary measure on the plant foot of every quarterback. They have no proof that it saved them in terms of having a more serious injury, but everyone on this sideline is a lot more comfortable that he has it on.
And here's a hit by Polo Johnson, and that is a tough hit right there at the knee. And it's standing up here next to you.
If people don't understand, that's why they get paid the big bucks, because you're vulnerable in that position. We'll go over the new rules in the Big Ten, especially to protect quarterbacks in the pocket when defensive players roll up on the left knee, but you're vulnerable in the throwing position.
Langford with room. Langford at the 49-yard line before he is brought down by Jermaine Huff. And Trey Garland there. 21-0 under a minute remaining here in the first quarter. This is a Michigan State Spartan program. They've been so consistent. They've won 11 or more games in 3 of the last 4 years. Connor Cook last season emerged as their starter, and he's really turned into a vocal leader for this team. Langford cuts it right back up the middle and into Gamecock territory. And it's a first down for Michigan State. 3 touchdowns as Langford comes hobbling off. You know, that's certainly one of the concerns, up 21-0. And you have Oregon next week out in Eugene.
Definitely going to be a tough ball game, and I think Michigan State looking forward to the test. And you want to see where you're at. They want to see where you rank. Oregon right now, I believe they're ranked 3rd in the country and have had one of the better programs, obviously, the past few years. And I think it'll be a great test for Michigan State.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Connor Cook
out on the field
with 3 touchdowns here in this first quarter. Tony Lippett with 2 dynamic plays. 21-0. We go to the second quarter for the Spartans, as you would expect, but yet Jacksonville State team, spread team that came in thinking that they could do some damage. Nick Hill trying to get outside and unable to do it as Van Andrus comes in from Ashland, Alabama, and makes a stop.
It looked like Jack Allen, the center for Michigan State, gets beat on an A-gap pressure by Andrus, who just shoots the gap, able to get in the backfield and make the tackle for a loss.
Blake Treadwell, Dan France, and Bo Finotti all gone for the Spartans.
They feel good. You talk to Jim Bowman. Their left tackle, Jack Conklin, who's filling in, really has played a lot in his career. They feel he could be better than Flozell Adams, and that's saying a lot for a former walkout.
Troop once again at the 40, hit by Johnson. His second career catch, and Cook is a perfect 7 of 7.
Well, you see the confidence. You see him expand again. It's a play action, going to the curl route again. Excellent route by Troop. You see the separation, just the size of Troop. So they have all different roles these receivers play. They can get big and physical. They can be short and speedy when they need to. They can go deep when they want to, and they certainly help with that type of size of Troop. It helps in the run game. It helps in blocking, and that's why Jeremy Langford had over 1,400 yards a year ago as a running back.
3rd and 2. Cook under pressure up top, and did Troop hang on? Flags are down. Huff was covering A.J. Troop.
Michigan State going for the gusto. They fake the bubble screen to the left, a little pump by Connor Cook, and goes deep to Troop.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Take a shot, and Huff is the guilty party on that. You see him pushing Troop, and he makes a good one-handed effort. Almost hauled it in. We look at the concentration of Troop on that play.
And Huff with the penalty, talking to Connor Cook. Trying to spread it around, keep everybody happy. He said, no, you know what, I'm just going to go through my reads, the progressions, and look for the mismatches.
Matt, your favorite target is the guy who's open.
That's right.
I guarantee it.
Nick Hill bouncing to the outside. Hill in there for Jeremy Langford, who came off of the field hobbling. Miller and Johnson are right there. Safeties involved in on the play. And that's what you do when you get in the huddle, right? Say, guys, look it. You get open, I'm going in that direction.
I used to say that in the huddle. Guys, I will not discriminate. Who's ever open, you get the rock, I guarantee it. And they all responded, and they got open. They fought to get open every single play.
2nd and 2. Hill with the first down. Hill spinning at the 10, still on his feet. Touchdown, Michigan State. Keeping that run alive, 17 yards. The touchdown for Nick Hill.
The unblocked guy, you got to make him miss. That's great effort. Good spin move by Nick Hill. Tremendous. Watch the hole right here. It's just an inside zone run. Sees the cutback. Makes the guy miss there. Watch Huff. Up, lower your head. I'll make you miss. Spin. And then hits the Jets to get in the end zone. He smells touchdown, and he went and got it. Nice run by Nick Hill.
$27-0. Geiger. Extra point is good. 8 plays, 70 yards, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Fifth-year senior spins away from Jermaine Huff, and he eyes the end zone. And the Spartans are on the board once again. Here, under the lights here at Spartan Stadium. Kick off once again. Johnson and Pope's going to take it. Pope brings it up to the 20. He's upended there. Ever wonder what that old piece of Big Ten memorabilia was worth? Follow expert John Arcand as he hits the road, traveling the country in search of the most exceptional Big Ten collectibles around. It's a premiere of Big Ten Treasure Hunters, September 16th on BTN. And that old Jim Miller jersey, huh? Huh?
They had different colors back then, Matt. Now they go with the darker green. They look a little bit meaner nowadays.
We were rocking the Kelly green back then. See if John could find that out on the road. Jenkins fakes to Gonzalez. Looks downfield. Jenkins wants to run. And he gets upended by McDowell. And here are the first 5 possessions. You know, you thought, on the first play. A scrimmage from the Gamecocks, but now.
Yeah, it's been a busted coverage early, but Michigan State has shorted up. Already got a turnover in this half, and I think are starting to settle in more defensively.
Rush does a great job of containing, turning him back up inside.
Marcus Rush, underrated player. 30 tackles a year ago, 7.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. He's an unsung hero. Since he arrived here in East Lansing, 40 starts out of 41 games. All this guy does is play football.
Out of Moeller High School in Cincinnati, 5 sacks a season ago. 3rd and 8. Jenkins with his team down 28-0. On the run, getting chased down by McDowell, and Barge, did he make the grab? And Josh Barge, a sliding grab.
Good pressure. You look at McDowell. He's going to play quite a bit for Michigan State. Hit him in early. Just a good throw on the run by Eli Jenkins, and a great effort by Jacksonville State's receiver.
Malik McDowell, freshman, 6'6". Jenkins, no place to go.
Look at the contain. Again, that's good discipline defensively from Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator of Michigan State. How he schools these guys up in a 20-hour work week is amazing. Again, assignment football. Take the running back, quarterback, see him blow up the guard right there. Everybody swarm to the football. The contain is there, not allowing the quarterback to get outside to run with the football.
Michigan State and Alabama are the only 2 schools the last 3 seasons to rank in the top 10 nationally in scoring, rushing, and total defense. Jenkins under pressure, wrapped up and brought down as Ed Davis is able to come away with a sack.
Here we go, a little education. This is a cross-dog blitz. How do you coach this up in 20 hours? We'll get the end zone copy right here. 2 linebackers. They cross and blitz, double A-gap blitz. That's on each side of the center. That's what wreaks havoc in the backfield. Eli Jenkins has nowhere to go. Good pressure, a lot of blitz zones by Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator.
A loss of 5. 3rd and 14. Jenkins. Jenkins tries to get back up close to the line of scrimmage. And Curtis Drummond is right there. That's going to bring up 4th down. With 9:43 and counting here in the second quarter. Although the defense tonight not tested, will certainly get tested next weekend against Marcus Mariota and the Ducks. But they look tuned up and ready to go.
They still have plenty more to work on. They'll start rolling in some players, and that's typical for Mark D'Antonio early in the season. Good fair catch right there. Good decision.
Kings at the 10. Michigan State up 28-0. Tomorrow on the Big Ten Network, GPA 4.0 this summer, pursuing a master's degree in advertising, 2-time academic all Big Ten selection. Participates in several community service initiatives for the Spartans. 1st and 10 for the Spartans from their own 10-yard line, and Jeremy Langford back in the game. Shelton on a handoff, end around, and Shelton picks up a yard, maybe 2. The first 5 possessions, Jim, tonight for Michigan State.
Big plays, explosive plays. Look at that, 4 plays for 80, 2 for 73, and then now starting to grind it out with the run game. Saw the jet sweep right there, but even in the last drive, 7 of the 8 plays in the last drive were on the ground for 70 yards.
Langford. 2nd down and 8 as Cook is under center. Back to throw, under pressure. Flips it to the far side, and the pass is caught. And Jamal Lyles, tight end, sophomore from Southfield, Michigan, with the catch.
He just has a knack for this. Has a feel in the pocket, has the awareness. Part of it is growing as a quarterback, where his mind has expanded and he's not in tunnel vision. But he's got the great trait of the sixth sense. He always just has a knack for finding the open guy, finding the sweet spot in the pocket, and making a big play.
The old jump pass. He's 8 of 8. Cook. Cook out of the pocket, looks downfield, fires, has a man, and it is caught. Keith Mumphrey with the catch as Jalen Hill comes in out of Marietta, Georgia, to make the stop. And what a catch. Just talking about the Marine Corps leader of the game.
Great catch. And like you said, it's on a post route. And again, it's the feel in the pocket of Connor Cook. I mean, he feels the pressure, shuffles to his left, squares his shoulders, and delivers a strike to Mumphrey down the field, who has the knack for the big play. And I think everybody remembers the big one he had in the Big Ten championship game. Another big touchdown.
72-yarder career long for him against Ohio State. 43 yards that time. Here's Langford looking to bounce it outside. Langford will grind out 3 yards. And Endress is there for the tackle. 28-0 Michigan State here with 7:18 remaining here in the first half. Weeknights, join the conversation on BTN Live. It's the most comprehensive nightly college football discussion from the guys who love to talk about the game, including Jim Miller. BTN Live, weeknights at 6 Eastern on BTN. Pendleton and Langford in the backfield. Tony Lippett, bottom of your screen. 2 tight end set. Handoff. Langford just straight ahead. Lowers the shoulder pads, and Endress, the Mike linebacker, comes in on the stop.
It's heavy personnel. Michigan State goes 2 tight ends with the traditional fullback, and it's just a lead. Back on backer. We'll have to see who's down right there, and I believe that's Langford.
Again, yeah. He hobbled off of the field earlier. Back in the game, and you can tell he is frustrated. Here's Langford. Rush for 100-plus yards in a school record 8 straight games. Streak ended in the Rose Bowl.
Looks like his ankle got rolled up on that play.
I'll send it down to Lisa.
Matt, you mentioned it. We watched him kind of hobble off, and as we see him kind of jog off the sideline, I had watched the athletic training staff really pay attention to that left ankle, and in particular the high ankle area. They spent a lot of time retaping that up. They also retaped his right ankle, but a significant, much more time spent on that left ankle, and something to keep track of here.
Fifth leading returning rusher in the nation. 14 of his touchdowns a season ago came in the final 9 games.
Grind it out, Michigan State football.
Here's Nick Hill straight ahead. And on third down, does he get the first down? It's going to be fourth down now. And less than a yard. Connor Cook, 9 of 9, 257. And Cook straight ahead. And are they able to push forward and get that first down? And a lot of extra pushing and shoving there at the 25-yard line.
Well, it may seem small, but good quick snap count. You got to use your snap count as a weapon, your cadence. You can go on the quick, on the long. Goes on the quick right there, and it's just enough to catch the defensive line off guard for him to get the surge for the first down. Good job by Jack Allen, the center. See him plow out the linebacker right there.
And Cook just rolls to the right of Jack Allen between Jack and Donovan Clark. The right guard. Cook, play action, looks downfield, and he overthrows Tony Lippett. Lippett with 2 big-time plays in the first quarter.
And they feel he's the leader of the receiving group, and he's shown it tonight with 2 big plays, and he's just grown. He's a more confident player as well. I think this whole offense is more confident. They've all played a significant amount of snaps. And they've got some gaudy numbers early, and they feel that they can grow it out more. Multiple personnel groupings. They can go 2 tights, like I said. They can spread you out. They can go the power run game. They feel very good. No huddle, you name it. Michigan State feels they have it in their arsenal.
First incomplete pass for Cook, and now Cook goes underneath. Nick Hill gets away from Huff, stays on his feet, and gets outside before LaMichael Fanning. A transfer from Alabama. Played in 12 games over 2 years for the Crimson Tide. Breaks this tackle, sheds it there.
The timing, normally on a screenplay, the offensive line waits a count of 2, and right there it looked like Travis Jackson needed to pick up Huff, but really good effort by Nick Hill.
3rd and 1, and a flag is down. As the pass was intended for Tony Lippett.
Pass interference, defense, number 48, spot foul, automatic first down.
See Connor Cook rolling to his right. Clearly you see the contact right there before the ball arrived to Tony Lippett.
Ben Andrus, 5th-year senior. 3rd penalty on the Gamecocks. Cook. At the 8-yard line, under center, Nick Hill. Nick Hill off tackle. Nick Hill diving forward. Touchdown, Michigan State. Nick Hill with his 2nd touchdown of the first half.
And those hugs are genuine. Think about it. He's had to sit behind Le'Veon Bell, Jeremy Langford a year ago. Simple jab play, and they come back with the counter to the strong side. See the offensive lineman pulling, and again, his speed to get to the edge. Sometimes he beats his offensive lineman to the blocks. That's how quick Nick Hill is.
34-0. Michigan State. 10 plays, 90 yards. Burned 4 minutes and 12 seconds, an 8-yard run for Nick Hill, and it's 35-0. Michigan State. Hill reaches Reaching ahead, diving. To go here at Michigan State, of course, long weekend, Labor Day weekend, and great to have this Friday night action in the Big Ten and for Michigan State before everybody heads back up to their cottages, right, for the weekend.
That's normally what happens. You're right. Some beautiful spots in up north Michigan, but hey, the rain is held off. Beautiful night for football, and the Spartans have been delivering.
Cronin, they kick off once again. Pope and Johnson are back, and it's taken in the end zone and brought out by Jaron Johnson out of Jackson, Alabama, the sophomore. There is a flag down on the play.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team, number 83. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Brandon Wilson, redshirt freshman. And Jacksonville State program that's had so much success last season. 11-4, 5-3 in the OVC. Lost in the quarterfinals. You see number 83 right there. So now backed up inside the 10, Jim.
Well, special teams again by Mike Tressel sets Jacksonville State back in poor field position to start on this drive.
Jenkins in trouble, goes down inside the 1. What tremendous pressure. Demetrius Cooper, the redshirt freshman from Chicago, Illinois.
Right now, it's a party at the quarterback. Look at the front four of Michigan State. They're blitzing linebackers. Again, look at the contain. There's nowhere to go if you're Eli Jenkins. Any one of them could have got the sack right there. Cooper gaining some confidence, being disruptive.
Second down and a flag.
There is no foul for illegal substitution. Timeout, Jacksonville State, their second.
So Jacksonville State, Youngstown State. At 3:30, it's Nebraska taking on Florida Atlantic, or Maryland's debut in the Big Ten against James Madison tomorrow on BTN and BTN to go. How about Rutgers last night against Washington State? A great win for the Scarlet Knights, and just trying to inch ahead. And tremendous pressure up front. And the Spartans want a safety.
They're just trying to create some breathing room, and there's nowhere to go. There is no surge. Look at that. You got to get lower than your opponent, and that's exactly what Cooper did right there again.
Pat Narduzzi's defense dialed up against an FCS school that set 49 school records last season on offense, 13 OVC records, and 3 NCAA records. They have gone nowhere tonight. Third down, Jenkins from his own end zone, and Barge can't hold on to it. As Darian Hicks is right there, Jenkins has already thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half.
Well, they try to fake and get the bootleg off the inside because Joel Heath, the defensive tackles for Michigan State, Joel Heath and Lawrence Thomas, they are submarining inside, and there you see Darian Hicks just gets enough to tip the ball. Just enough to swat it down, cause the incompletion. Good defense. He's showing up well tonight. Those are big shoes to fill when you look at the Jim Thorpe Award winner, Darquez Denard, and Darian Hicks really gaining some confidence.
McGinnis to Kings. McGarrett Kings Jr. on the return and down to the 36-yard line. A great field position for Michigan State. And coming up at halftime on the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report, Dave, Jerry, and Howard will be along from our Chicago studio with all the stories from around the Big Ten. The Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report. A lot to talk about with tonight's first half for Connor Cook. After the first play of the game by Eli Jenkins in Jacksonville State. They picked up 32 yards. Combined just 57 yards in 24 plays.
Doesn't shock me. And I've said this over the years, Matt. Pat Narduzzi, if you run a spread option attack or you're a high-tempo offense, your numbers will be cut in half right out the gate.
A.J. Troop with the catch.
They've done it. They did it against Indiana. They did it against Ohio State. And everybody says that about, oh, we'll be the team to identify what Michigan State does, and they can't do it. The blitz zones, the volume of defense, the pressures, the man coverage, it's constantly, it's just relentless by Pat Narduzzi. I think he blitzed his own mom if she were in the stands. I mean, this guy will blitz anybody.
Pick up a 6. It's 2nd and 4. Delton Williams in the backfield. And Williams close to a first down. Andrus there. The sophomore Williams from Erie, Pennsylvania, out of Cathedral Prep. It's 3rd and 1 now for the Spartan offense. Cook to the line. Here's Williams. And Williams is going to get that first down for Michigan State as LaMichael Fanning is right there.
And this is what typically Mark D'Antonio does in non-conference games. He tries to play as many guys as he can just to get their feet wet. People forget where Connor Cook really got his first taste. A couple years ago, it was in a bowl game against TCU in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. Throws him out there for a series. He ends up leading Michigan State to the game-winning field goal in the bowl game.
We talked to Dave Warner as well as Connor Cook, and they said it was really after that Notre Dame loss, some movement up front and a flag. At Iowa is really where they
False
felt.
Start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Brian Allen, the true freshman, younger brother of Jack Allen. But it was at Iowa, in Iowa City, where they really felt that the offense started to click.
And it's a tough place to go into Kinnick Stadium to play, and he has great composure. There's no doubt about that, but I just think it's about the process of understanding the pre-snap and post-snap reads. Early as in a quarterback's career is processing information. That is the hardest part for you to react off of. Now it's coming second nature. It's rote memory to Connor Cook right now.
Price, the tight end, down to the 15-yard line. Just one blemish last year, and that was at 22nd ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They lost 17-13. And they had a bye the next week, and Connor Cook said that was key because he was able to spend a lot of time in the film room.
Yeah, and the coaches, they allow you in that bye week. You're
Timeout, Michigan State for second. 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to
48 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. 35-0, 8th-ranked Michigan State.
Yeah, well, I'll finish my thought on Connor Cook. You mentioned the bye week. It's where you reset. You self-scout yourself. What can our quarterback do well? What can he? So let's start with the basics, and then we'll expand the package. They've done that with Connor Cook.
Williams dropped for a loss. A dominant first half by the Spartans here, Jim.
I think you come away thinking early the defense will be just fine. I think you see they can do more offensively. They're more explosive. They will take shots in games, and they minimize their turnovers. And Michigan State was great at that all year. They were one of the best in the Big Ten. Even Connor Cook, only 6 interceptions, which is outstanding for the amount of pass attempts. So minimize the mistakes, explosive plays on offense. They'll continue to grow that. I think the receivers are going to be very difficult for teams to match up. And we'll see if Jeremy Langford, if he's going to get any more carries tonight.
Timeout. Michigan State, their third and final timeout. 30-second timeout.
30-second timeout taken by Michigan State.
Yeah, and coach said they wanted to get him 20 to 25 carries. Obviously, as Lisa touched on, you know, if he's hobbled, maybe he's done for the night. When you look at Jeremy Langford, only 13 rushes, but still very productive and set up the deep play actions that we talked about.
Connor Cook even still a little, his gait still has There's a little bit of a hitch to it. 393 yards of offense, and next week they head to Oregon. The last time they played was 1999, and the Spartans won it 27-20. They'll start a home-and-home series. And then Eastern to Michigan to Wyoming. They open up Big Ten action October 4th against Nebraska. Last time that the Cornhuskers played in East Lansing, they won. There's a field goal, and it is good. Geiger with the field goal, and it's 38-0. Geiger, 15-16 last season, missed one earlier tonight. And a 35-yard field goal there. 38-0.
Hasn't seen a defense that aggressive in some time.
Don Gross making his head coaching debut, and for him, it'll get easier in the Ohio Valley Conference. They're one of the top teams in FCS. Next week they take on Chattanooga. And this goes back to Langford. This is the second time that he was slow to get up.
And watch his left ankle. That's what looks to be rolled up right there. You see the defender down low. Gets tweaked a little bit right there, and you're probably right. Probably done for the night, I would think, for Langford.
Through the back of the end zone by Connor Rulo. Jacksonville State, 11 straight winning seasons. That's the third longest streak in FCS football and longest in school history behind Harvard and Montana State. And so Connor Cook, his night more than likely over as Tyler O'Connor steps in from Lima, Ohio, a sophomore at Central Catholic.
Huge progress in his accuracy. He's got a big, strong arm, and he can launch it as well. They said through spring football, through the fall, him in the competition between Damian Terry for the second spot, he has really improved in his accuracy.
Nick Hill on the carry. Hill, and he is spun around and maybe picks up a yard and a half. Devontae Ziegler is there out of Mobile, Alabama. Played 18 games for the Auburn Tigers. Michigan State, they got to feel good about that first half. And it's interesting because this is a program they pride themselves, as you well know, that blue-collar mentality, and we're not overlooking anyone. We're not thinking about Oregon next week. Garrett Kings Jr. makes the catch, and Connor Cook said there's no sense of entitlement on this team. We're hungrier than ever.
You're right. I think they try to go out every day and get better. He knows nothing is given to him. Yes, he burst on the scene a year ago, and this is no nothing against him personally that they didn't vote him a team captain, but I think knowing the history of Michigan State, they want guys to earn it. Typically guys who are captains or walk-ons that have played 4 or 5 years, and I think they want to see Connor Cook back it up and do it again in 2014. He's off to a good start.
3rd and long. O'Connor out of the shotgun. O'Connor steps up, keeping the play alive, looks downfield, and he overthrows his intended target of McGarrett Kings Jr.
And I think he's throwing that away, or if there's miscommunication between Kings Jr. on that particular play. You see him, he's like, I was going to throw up my hand and go. And normally that's what happens on scramble rule drills. And normally the deepest receiver, he'll just raise. He was running a curl route. If he's even with the defender, even, you're leaving. And I think O'Connor thought he was going to go deep on that particular play.
First 3 and out, first time that we see punter Mike Sadler. He averaged 42.5 yards a season ago. Josh Barge is back as this one wobbles its way, and it's picked up. And the play is whistled dead. Let's see if Barge is looking around in the end zone, but he doesn't have the football.
I wonder if he signaled fair catch, and that's why the officials ruled it dead. But you wonder, was the punt blocked? Came off the foot. A little wobbly.
Receiver gave an invalid signal. Ball's dead at possession. First down.
So it's going to be first down for the Gamecocks here. Josh Barge. Here's the signal. His hands went straight out, did not go up.
Normally it needs to be above your shoulder. May have got a generous call on that one.
Max Shortell, the transfer from Minnesota, played 9 games last season, connects with a Barge. Demetrius Cox there, and Max Shortell, as a freshman at the University of Minnesota, started against Michigan October 1st. Of 2011. That was his first career collegiate start, as he hooks up that time with Spencer Goffigan at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So Shortell, 2 of 2.
And he's a big, strong-arm guy. He's the pocket guy. And John Gross, they believe they've got 3 different type of passers. Jenkins is the dual threat. Max Shortell is more the pocket passer.
To the near side, connects with the Barge. He's 3 of 3. And Darian Harris is there, 3 of 3 for 22 yards. Shortell 6'5", 240, the senior. And a strong throw to Barge. And Harris once again, and heads up to the line of scrimmage, and here he is getting that start against Michigan.
And it was a rough day. He took some big hits in that matchup. See the little play fake there, but has played before, and again, he's a big, accurate thrower in the pocket. See him sidestep that one, overthrows it, but he can spin it with some revolutions in terms of his speed, the velocity he can put on the football.
Left Minnesota. Now finds himself in Jacksonville, Alabama. Third down and 4. Handoff, James. James has a first down inside the 20. James continues to run inside the 10 before he is brought down. And Demetrius Cooper, the redshirt freshman, makes a stop. And a pickup of 20 in the first time that DeMarcus James has been a factor. First team All-OVC to the end zone, and the pass is broken up by Arjun Cahoon out of Windsor, Ontario. Pass intended for Ruben Gonzalez.
And Ruben Gonzalez, another transfer for Jacksonville State. They tried to make a really just a back shoulder fade right there. And Calhoun, here's another young player for Michigan State. He's backing up Darian Hicks. Again, Mark D'Antonio going to get some young players some playing time early in the season.
Shortell to the end zone, and he just zings that one right past Barge. And it's going to be 3rd and goal now.
Had a wide open receiver, probably rushed it a little bit with Shortell, but you can see at least now they have a little tempo on offense. And Demetrius Cox now getting a little playing time at the safety position. For him to get experience, knowing that if you don't have safety help on the other side, you better be in the hip pocket of the wide receiver. Could have easily have been a touchdown there.
3rd and goal. Shortell out of the pocket. Shortell on the run, fires underneath, reaching out. Is he down? Merrill, Marquise Merrill. And one of the officials said touchdown. The other believes he was down.
I wonder if they'll take a look at it, because you're right, far side of the field. Was his knee down? Is he still fighting? Nothing down there.
No, that looks to be a touchdown.
Merrill, great effort. Ball breaking the plane of the goal line. Last thing you say.
On the field is a touchdown. The play is under further review.
And I agree with you. I think the shoulder hit the turf after he already extended the ball across the plane of the goal line. Great effort by Merrill.
Merrill reaching in as he was able to keep his feet underneath him. That right knee did not go down. And, well, is it the elbow? Is it the elbow? It's going to be, I think, that left elbow. What do you think? Left elbow?
Yeah,
right there.
Right there, the elbow hits, and I think he's just short of the goal line right there when you look at it again.
And the VAR official did not have that view in line, and he would have been blocked by the players. Ross making his head coaching
after review. The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
All right, touchdown for Jacksonville State. 11:37 remaining here in the third quarter. And let's see if the ball is across.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, it's probably too close, inconclusive, so the play stands. But it was pretty much simultaneous. The ball crossing the goal line when his elbow hit the turf.
Rulo comes on. And the extra point is good. It is 38-7. Marquise Merrill reaches across, and Jacksonville State is on the board.
That's all I can touch it, though. The national championship trophy here in East Lansing. The first of 10 stops that this is going to make throughout the college football season. And, of course, decided by a 4-team playoff this year. The Sugar, the Rose, the semifinals. And then on January 12th, that national title game. That's as close as I can get to it, though, Matt.
All righty. Big Ten champion is eligible to be selected for one of the 4 spots in the college football playoff. And if the Big Ten champion is not among the top 4, it'll play into one of the 3 host bowls, Cotton, Peach, or Fiesta. And other Big Ten teams also could be selected as at-large teams to the playoff or host bowls. As we see the format. And there's certainly a lot of belief around here that with what happened down in Columbus with Braxton Miller, and then also next week at Oregon, are things, do they open up for this Michigan State Spartans team?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. I think the sky's the limit. They've put their best foot forward tonight. But you mentioned a lot of people thought because of the injury to Braxton Miller coming into the season that the East, it was so imbalanced. Yeah. You've got Ohio State and Michigan in the East, and in the West, obviously, with Nebraska, Wisconsin, and I think Iowa's got a pretty good schedule. And now I think it's more, everybody views it more balanced now with the injury to Braxton Miller. So we'll see how it shakes out. Got to play them one at a time. I don't think any team will take it for granted, but what an opportunity.
There it is. Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, and Rutgers winning off
a good start.
Yeah, Washington State.
And I don't think you can sleep on Maryland either. C.J. Brown, they put up him and Stephon Diggs put up good numbers a year ago.
Burbridge, the ball carrier there. And the West, of course, it was leaders and legends, but now with Rutgers and Maryland coming in, take a look at the West Division: Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Purdue, and Wisconsin. They got a big one tomorrow night down in Baton Rouge with LSU.
Give it to Gordon. I mean, they can still mush the football. We look at Wisconsin, lost a little bit on defense, still unsettled at the quarterback spot. I think Iowa, I really like what Kirk Ferentz' opportunity is in Nebraska. Let's face it, they always have talent out there in Nebraska. Look out for those teams.
And don't forget about Ohio State. I know that no Braxton Miller, but Urban Meyer as Burbridge. Catch there. Ohio State has only one preseason top 25 opponent on their schedule, and that is Michigan State.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, especially what they have on defense. When you look at Washington, Bosa, I mean, they did lead the Big Ten in sacks, so there is plenty of talent there in Columbus. And Urban Meyer, it's his job to rally that team around a young quarterback in JT, and I think they'll be able to do that.
1st and 10, O'Connor on a handoff. And Nick Hill is stopped. Let's send it down to Lisa Byington with the honorary captain for tonight's game. Lisa?
He's normally known as Mark Hollis, the athletic director, but yes, the honorary captain. One of the biggest responsibilities, you have to give the pregame talk. Now, my sources told me you were a little bit nervous for that. Were they accurate?
It's very accurate. It's a little bit crazy, out of my element. All these guys staring at me and actually listening, and that's not normal for an athletic director, so it was a lot of fun.
But you must have said something right. You're up 38-0.
Yeah, I take credit. They didn't pull me in at halftime, so whatever happens in the second half's on Coach D, but first half was mine.
And the second responsibility, you did win the coin toss, correct?
We won the coin toss. We deferred to the second half. We even picked the right way to go, so everything worked out great.
Your team performing here on the field very well, and in the shadows of something I know that you're very proud of in the North End Zone complex. Now complete, a $24.5 million project. How proud are you, or what was your emotion when you walked in for the first time, totally complete?
Well, it's fun to go through before we opened it, but today to actually see it in operation, and you know, in many aspects, the players are still trying to figure out how to use the locker room. Beautiful facility. It touches so many different aspects of Spartan football. So many donators. You don't want to single out one person, but I did notice that the Tom and Lupe Media Center is a little ironic, correct? That his name is put on where the media is going to be? I think ironic may be way too weak of a word for that one, but Coach Izzo and Lupe so generous in that gift, and it's going to be probably a topic of conversation, not only of football, but basketball season as well. All right, Mark Hollis, Athletic Director, Honorary Captain, thank you.
He's done such a phenomenal job here as O'Connor throws it out of bounds, incomplete, 38-7 with 9:09. Captain Travis Jackson, the left guard, fifth-year senior, goes down, and he was helped off of the field.
He's been a nice player for Michigan State when you look at the versatility up in the offense line. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Started out as a center, and unfortunately he rolled his ankle early in his career, but man, he's filled in at the guard spots and center so nicely, and we'll have to see if Travis Jackson can shake that one off.
True freshman Brian Allen playing alongside his brother Jack Allen. Brian Allen at left guard. And the center is Jack. Pass intended for Lyles, and it's incomplete.
Here you see a young quarterback getting some experience right here in Tyler O'Connor. He didn't trust it. Right there, he had the slant route open to Aaron Burbridge. He didn't pull the trigger, tried to move on his read, and then leads to the throwaway. So not the worst thing in the world to punt the football, but I think he's a little upset at himself he didn't hit that throw. Josh Barge is back for Jacksonville State. Mike Sadler, 69% of his punts last season. Last year were either inside the 20 or they were fair caught. That one is tapped down, and the student section here still holding on as the Spartans lead 38. He's going to be okay. 33-yard punt. It's 38-7. Here's Max Shortell. Led him to a touchdown last time. And Ruben Gonzalez with the catch. The transfer out of the University of South Florida. And so Shortell going to work. 23 yards there through the air, Jim. Good timing, and he's had the time in the pocket to throw the football, but he's throwing in rhythm right now when you look at Shortell. And he overthrows the intended target, Merrill. Arian Hicks right there. Timing right on the numbers. Perfect spot to Gonzalez. See Calhoun and trail coverage right there. But it's really the timing. You can't defend plays that are thrown on time. Very difficult, well executed by Jacksonville State. Second down and 10. Shortell looks underneath. Shortell, an incomplete pass. And the pressure coming. And I think they were trying to set up a screen pass right there. You wonder if they're going to call illegal downfield or grounding by the quarterback here. I would think illegal lineman downfield. Trying to set up a screen pass, didn't time out. Normally it's one of those two calls.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. A receiver was in the area.
And there you go. They'll pick it up. It's going to be third down and 10 now for Max Shortell. Shawnee Mission, Kansas, a transfer out of the Gopher program. And it's something Jacksonville State, they do a tremendous job getting players from around the country that play Division I football. There's Travis Jackson up the tunnel. And you're hearing it as back spasms. Shortell. Watch out, flying in, no place to go. As Darian Harris comes flying in, assisted by Ed Davis.
The delayed blitz, and that's normally what happens. They bait the quarterback. You don't think he's coming? Now, there he comes right now. Watches the back. He saw the back. DeMarcus James was picking up protection. Now that's the key. All right, here I'm coming. Great blitz, great sack by Harris on the play.
Loss of 9 yards. 38-7, 7:53 and counting remaining in the third. Hamish McGinnis to punt to McGarrett Kings Jr. And a fair catch right at the 19-yard line for Michigan State. And let's send it down to Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Well, you got almost a standing ovation. Darquez Denard here watching his former team. What are your emotions here now that you don't get to suit up here for the first time?
It's different, you know. It's definitely different just coming here and being a spectator of it. And, you know, it's good to come out here and watch these guys, man. You know, I got the chance to see them and work out with them in this summer, and they was all hungry. And that was all I wanted us to do, bigger things than what I did my senior year. You know, just coming out here and watching what these guys did so far in the first half, man, they did a great job. They're going to have a great season.
Shutout defensively, and I know a defensive guy loves that. What kind of input do you try to give these guys tonight?
Basically, just go out here and have fun. You know, just play your technique. Don't ever get wrong with your technique. And, you know, just do what your coach and just have fun.
Of course, I meant the shutout there in the first half, if I misspoke. You had high praise with the Cincinnati Bengals, and head coach Marvin Lewis said that you are one of the top corner rookies that he has seen. How have you made this pro transition?
I think I made this transition really big from my coaching staff here. You know, Coach D and Coach Deuce, Coach Bees, they run this whole program like an NFL, and you know they keep everybody accountable and you know have you accountable for everything you do. And I think that pretty much helped me out to be the type of player I am becoming.
Good luck in the NFL season. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Nick Hill straight up the middle on 1st and 10, and Darquez Denard, first-team All-American, two-time first-team All, Big Ten, 24th pick by the Bengals. And Trey Waynes, he's got the bandage on the forehead after early on. He was cut right above his right eyebrow, and as you mentioned, high praise from the coaching staff in regards to Waynes.
Yeah, I was in Harlan Barnett. He loves Trey Waynes because of his length. But just talking about Darquez Denard, I was with Marvin Lewis with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a part of our coaching staff. Excellent defensive coach. He can diagnose corner talent. Ron Woodson was on our team. And for Marvin Lewis to say that high praise about Darquez Denard, it is, I mean, that's a great thing, and it comes with great credibility coming from Marvin Lewis.
Anthony Arnett with the catch. Darquez Denard talking about the seniors. Departed seniors were a part of the 3 winningest seasons in Spartan football history, Jim. 42 wins in their career, the most of any class in school history.
And you knock off a team that's undefeated in Ohio State, so they have got a lot to be proud of. And this group taking over. Keep on the tradition. That's how it's passed along. You build that tradition, and I think that's where this new group of young players want to continue to go.
O'Connor out of the shotgun with time across the middle. He hits his big tight end, Price. And it's a first down and more. 38-7 with a 5:20 remaining in the third.
Good pace, good accurate throw. It's just a middle read by the tight end. It's man-to-man coverage. He beats the safety easily. And for, as you mentioned, a big tight end, he's well over 250 when you look at Josiah Price. He was pulling away. So nice hands, had 4 touchdowns a year ago, will continue to be a big target in this offense.
Out of Greetown, Indiana, a 32-yard pickup. Handoff, Hill trying to get outside, now turns it back up in. And it's going to bring up second down. They get second down and long. Up 38-7. You know, one of the things that was so impressive last year with Michigan State, they defeated all 9 of their Big Ten opponents by 10 points or more. You're getting it done, not only on the defensive side, but also offensively as well when you do that in Big Ten play.
And let me tell you this from a quarterback's perspective, it is hard to manage a lead in ball games. And when you're playing with a lead like that, you've got a young quarterback at that time in Connor Cook, and you're dependent on him making good decisions, not turning over the football. So for Michigan State to be able to accomplish that is saying something. Very difficult to hold the lead.
2nd and 7 rolling out. Here's Price once again. Price down to the 11-yard line, and it's a first down as Michael Carlisle comes over and makes a tackle.
The little bootleg naked there.
Flag is down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 55. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Dustin Gayton right here.
Had 2 steps, and they're going to call it every time. We know safety issues now in terms of protecting players, specifically quarterbacks. And it's a bootleg naked. That's why you're exposed as a quarterback. The end man on the line of scrimmage is not blocked. You see Gayton right there, but he had a choice right there. 2 steps, too many to get to the quarterback. Can't do it.
1st and goal, 3:50 to go. 5 penalties for the Gamecocks. Under center O'Connor. Pendleton. Pull back with a handoff to Williams. It's going to bring up now 2nd and goal as they continue to burn the clock here.
They'll roll in a couple of their other young running backs, I believe, from Michigan State. Delton Williams that you just talked about, he is a huge running back. 6'1", 230-pound sophomore from Erie, PA. And I know they love the young freshman, Gerald Holmes. He's going to be a good one. 6 foot, 220 pounds from Flint, Michigan. Only a freshman.
On a keeper, O'Connor straight ahead. And it's going to bring up 3rd down now. MSU owns the nation's 2nd longest winning streak at 10 games. 2nd behind Florida State, the national champions who have won 16 straight. Spartans 3rd down. They are 4 of 9 here on this Friday night. Dominant first half by Connor Cook and the Spartans. O'Connor in relief. O'Connor in the end zone. Michigan State. Touchdown.
Great decision. Just made. It's just a little option play out of shotgun. And again, he can move around in the pocket. All 3 quarterbacks from Michigan State move pretty well. Just baits the defensive end, fakes the pitch right there. It's enough to create a crease, get him in the end zone.
First career touchdown, 44-7. Geiger on for the extra point. Sadler the holder. To 7 with 2:18 remaining in the 3rd. Tyler O'Connor with his first career touchdown as a Spartan. 9 plays, 81 yards. We look forward to that. You can relive the great game by Connor Cook against Ohio State. It was 24 of 40 for then a career best 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then against Stanford in the Rose Bowl, 22 of 36 for 332 and a pair of touchdowns.
I may have to drag you over to Duffy Daugherty football building. You and I can check that out, Matt.
I look forward to it. Jaron Johnson will be there. Let's book it. It's 45-7 with 2:11 to go, and you think about Michigan State last year building upon it and the chip on the shoulder, the workmanlike attitude and approach, and then you look at the schedule, and you know we've talked about Oregon and at home, opening up Big Ten play. Nebraska, you have Michigan. They have been so good against Michigan. They have won 5 of 6. It's their most success against the Wolverines since a stretch from 1956 through 1962. And then you look at their road schedule. At Purdue, at Indiana, at Maryland, at Penn State. And so after next week, a lot of eyes on that October 4th date with Nebraska, and then the rematch of the Big Ten title game on November 8th against Ohio State.
Well, you bring up good points, because when you look at it, I mean, obviously Michigan's a rivalry. You have something new in there when you go out on the road. At Maryland, Nebraska has somewhat been a thorn in Michigan State's side, so I don't think you can take anything for granted. Like anything else, Matt, you have to earn it. Sometimes the football has to bounce your way a couple times too, but you got to go on the field every week and earn it. And I think that makes it all the more fun, where you cherish Rose Bowl championships like a year ago.
Shortell out of the shotgun to the near side, and the pass is caught. And let's send it down to Lisa Byington. Lisa?
Well, this Jacksonville State team and their fans will head back to Alabama, except for a set of parents. They will hop on a plane first thing tomorrow morning and head to Atlanta. That's because Max Holcomb's parents, you see there, Danny and Kendra. Danny in the gray shirt and Kendra there next to him. Their younger brother, or their younger son, Keith, a true freshman linebacker at Alabama. You see Max there. He's the 5th-year senior, the All-American center for Jacksonville State. This weekend, they're going to watch both of their sons play, and they've made a vow that at least one parent will be at one of their games. In fact, Mom has created an Excel program that charts games, mileage, gas prices, whatever. And she has booked hotels, guys, in case both of these teams play for the national championship. She has booked hotels across the country, has them ready to go, because she says hotels are easy to cancel if need be.
There it is, an event planner extraordinaire. And the dad, Danny, he played at Alabama for Bear Bryant. They're from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as Dalton Screws makes the catch. And Max Shortell is moving this Gamecock offense, a 12-yard pickup.
You can see the timing and rhythm right there, just a little hook route on the outside, but he's delivering it on time. They have played with a better tempo offensively since Shortell has been in the game. They've just been more efficient, and the timing of the plays are being executed much better from the quarterback position.
Pass intended for Miles Jones out of the backfield. 2nd and goal with 21 seconds remaining here in the 3rd. Ed Davis, Twan Jones, and Darian Harris there. Shalik Calhoun on the edge with a Marcus Rush, the defense for Michigan State. So they still have some ones out there, and the pass is broken up. And a nice play by Calhoun as he was able to get a hand on it.
Well, you look at that, just because, you know, there are a lot of pass interference are called, but you can still get physical within that 5-yard box. And then you look at the length. He's 6'1". This is what you hear. It's almost like the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom. A lot of teams want that length, and Calhoun is another tall corner for Michigan State opposite Trey Williams.
Shortell is 10 of 17, 117 yards and a touchdown. It is 3rd and goal to go. Out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers high. Under the bottom of the screen, Shortell fires it right over Jones. Jones was not looking for it. And he thought Shortell maybe was going to tuck it under and go.
Yeah, well, it looked like Jones was heading to the flat and then snapped off the route, because scramble rule drills apply at that point, because he steps up in the pocket, starts to scramble, and that's where you're kind of in that gray area where you're not sure what to do, and it becomes a little bit of backyard football. Probably should have just tucked it and ran if he were Shortell.
4th and goal. 10 seconds left here in the 3rd. Shortell. Rolling out under pressure. Still on his feet. Shortell back to the 30 and brought down by Shalik Calhoun.
You got to be relentless if you're going to play for Pat Narduzzi. Big Ten Player of the Year, and then Marcus Rush, his teammate, cleans it up for the sack.
The best pure pass rusher in the Big. Damian Terry, the redshirt freshman, is in at quarterback for Michigan State out of Erie, Pennsylvania. So Terrian, redshirt freshman, Geichert in motion. Terry rolling out, pump fakes. He's going to keep it, and he is driven out of bounds by Trey Garland. The MSU defense, 4 sacks for 45 yards, 6 tackles for losses for 47 yards.
Michigan State, they get you going backwards. I think we saw that against Michigan a year ago, and it's just relentless. It's the volume of blitzes and the relentless things you have to prepare for as an offense coordinator. Doesn't matter if it's a spread attack, if you go tight and try and tighten it down and cut your splits down to where you can pick up all the blitzes. It is a huge volume of what you have to prepare for Michigan State.
And the redshirt freshman Gerald Holmes out of Flint, Michigan. You mentioned him earlier.
2 talented young players on the field right now. First, let's talk about the quarterback, Damian Perry, as you mentioned, from Erie, PA. 4-star recruit. This guy has some go to him. He can move. Talk about dual threat. Has a big arm, and he can run. And in terms of open field, reminds me a lot. I think he's a better, think of it this way. I'll compare him to Terrell Pryor. Remember Terrell Pryor at Ohio State? He could run like a gazelle. That's Damian Terry, only better mechanics throwing the football. You talked about Gerald Holmes, Flint, Michigan. He can pick him up and put him down for a big back.
A problem with the exchange that time. And it's going to be 4th down now. And Terry, frustrated there. Connor Cook, John Deere Gator game-changing performance. 12 of 13 was 9 for his first 9.
Almost perfect, because he was perfect. Look at that deep throw kid taking a big hit, showing his toughness. Hits Lippin twice. Pump fit, does the pump fist right there. Comes back. There's Troop with the touchdown. That was on an audible, so he's expanded what he's learned in the offense. Great game for Connor Cook to kick off the season.
Fair catch. Barge inside the 20. 45-7 with 12:51 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Tomorrow, college football returns to Fox as the 15th-ranked USC Trojans begin a new era as they take on upset-minded Fresno State. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern. With the injury to Braxton Miller, maybe even if Braxton wasn't injured this year, you think about Connor Cook and Christian Hackenberg, those trio quarterbacks, but with Miller out, Hackenberg, Cook, the 2 guys that come to mind as far as quarterbacks in the Big Ten for you?
Yeah, I think C.J. Brown could have a big year for Maryland. Here's why. He's a 6-year guy. He's 23 years old in Randy Edsall's system. And so you watch out for him. You look at Sudfeld at Indiana. They put up a boatload of yards in terms of throwing the football, chewing up yardage offensively. I like Jake Rudock down there for Iowa. Yep. He's really grown. He's got to cut down his interceptions. He was tied for the Big Ten in terms of interceptions. He can cut those down, but I think he's a big, strong-arm quarterback who really grew, once you get into that starter role. So Ohio State, we'll just have to wait and see what J.T. Barrett can do. A lot of times when your quarterback gets hurt or you have a key injury, the team rallies around you. They have talent down there at Ohio State. So maybe you cut down the packages, rely on Ezekiel Elliott, the big-time running back, and take the pressure off that young quarterback, and then let that offense expand and grow like Michigan State did a year ago with Connor Cook.
Christian LeMay in the pass. Incomplete. Let's send it down to Lisa.
Now we saw what Connor Cook was able to do here tonight. One of the things he thought that he would be better at is his long ball accuracy. One of the ways he improved that, spending his spring and his summer at the George Whitfield Quarterback Academy. Now, this was the second straight year he went, and he told me he went back a second time to continue to work on his lower body development. Consequently, his footwork and base have improved since the spring. He said, you know, a lot of people think the success is coming from the upper body, and Jim Miller, that's something that you can speak to. A lot of people underestimate the importance of your lower body strength.
Well, thanks, Lisa, and you're so right. It's about throwing on balance. That's how you have great nights like tonight, 12 for 13. It's about your core, your abs, your glutes, how you drive the football, and it's really like a golf whip.
On Florida Atlantic or Maryland's debut in the Big Ten against James Madison tomorrow on BTN and BTN to go. First down for the Spartans. And a handoff. And the handoff to Holmes, and he is stretched out. New in the Big Ten, and you see the center judge, the 8th official. Last season, the Big 12 had 8 officials. And now they're bringing in the center judge to the Big Ten.
It's gonna help out in terms of the pace of play, substitutions, because they're not going to be too fast at spotting the football. But basically, the extra official is almost the overseer to make sure the game goes off without a hitch.
Kings gets to the outside. Kings stays on his feet. Kings inside the 40, and now holding his left ankle. And we saw earlier Connor Cook, and then Travis Jackson, Jeremy Langford, and Kings is down here. 17-yard pickup.
Let's try and catch a replay here. Just a little sweep to the wide receiver. Sees the hole, cuts, everything looks fine there. Don't know if just the Jacksonville State player landed on
Andrus. Yep. And we'll take a break. 45-7 at Michigan State.
Little end around here by Margaret Kings, and you see him cutting, juking right there. Looks like the leg whip right here, whether it's in the knee area or catches him in the shin. Folo Johnson, the safety, just coming up trying to make a tackle, and Kings really doing a good job to be elusive there, but Margaret Kings a little banged up on the side on that play.
Third quarterback used tonight by Coach D'Antonio, and turning it back up inside is Gerald Holmes. We've seen Langford, Hill, Williams, and Holmes in the backfield for Michigan State. Next week's got, I tell you what, I look forward to seeing it. Last season, Oregon finished second in total offense in the nation. Of course, MSU second in total defense. Oregon 11-2. They were 7-2 in the Pac-12. They won the Alamo Bowl against Texas 30-7. Terry to the air, and the pass is incomplete. The athletic director Mark Hollis said that they had over 8,000 requests for the 3,000 ticket allotment.
Well, hey, it's two clash of the Titans. You mentioned one of the best offenses in college football against one of the best defenses, and I think this has been speculated all through the summer, the excitement, the build-up to that game, and I think everybody expects it to be special, and why such demand to go to that game.
It is 3rd and 9 now for Damian Terry, redshirt freshman. Terry. Holmes stays in. Terry, and his pass is incomplete. And it's going to bring up 4th down. Maxud, Matt Maxud, the sophomore from Lansing.
And I think, you know, he's getting good reps right now. Another young player, but certainly right there, the right side of the line, giving in a little bit too much there. And it's probably the one area of concern. Where is the depth on the Michigan State offensive line. We'll have to see the injury to Travis Jackson, the left guard, but you've got a new right tackle in Cody Keeler, who's been outstanding. Right there, you see Connor Cruz right there. But Jack Conklin comes with a lot of playing time. Travis Jackson, Jack Allen, Donovan Clark, those are the starters. Cody Keeler got his first start tonight, but really, where are the backups? They're getting the opportunity to shore it up tonight.
Jack's younger brother, Brian Allen, seeing action. Fair catch on the 12-yard line by Barge. And Brandon Clemens seeing some action up front as well. Miguel Machado. And that's one area of concern when you think about Michigan State. I mean, you're good with the 5, but then with the injury to Cruz, and now, you know, Travis Jackson with the back.
Well, you always got to have a swing guard who can fill center or guard, and that's always what Travis Jackson has been able to fill, in a swing tackle. But we'll find out if Machado is able to do that. Keeler has held up and done well. They feel good about their starting tackles, but you need to find a swing tackle, swing guard for either of those spots.
Christian LeMay on a keeper. And let's send it down to Lisa with an update on Kings.
Yeah, he's making his way on crutches towards the tunnel. They're going to x-ray that lower part of his leg. And the interesting spin to this, we talked about the north end zone complex. Michigan State now has an x-ray unit here on site. It's something that they didn't have before. So the training staff wants an immediate look at that. And he looked like he was in incredible pain here on the sideline, guys.
All right, LeMay goes down. As Kings, with crutches, headed back toward the new north end zone complex. Chris Fry, the true freshman, on the stop, 45-7 with under 9 minutes remaining here at Spartans Stadium. 3rd and 1. Their quarterback, John Gross, the head coach of Jacksonville State, is used, and it's going to be a first down. Saw Tom Izzo here earlier tonight. Jacksonville State and Michigan State, they've actually played each other in basketball. Go back to 2002, December 28th, right here in East Lansing, and MSU took care of business 76-52. But tonight, the first ever meeting between Michigan State and Jacksonville State on the gridiron.
Yeah, well, the Ohio Valley Conference, they've had great success as a football program there. You mentioned going all the way to the playoffs, quarterfinals a year ago, and they have high expectation this year, already voted to win the Ohio Valley Conference. And, you know, they do have a lot of playmakers. Last year averaged about 35 points a game. So really it's about offense. This will be their toughest defensive test facing Michigan State. And I think they'll do just fine this year once they regroup after this game.
They scored a school record 528 points a season ago.
False start. Offense. Number 89. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Ty Anderson.
Well, it's really amazing, Matt, that John Gross, as you mentioned, is a first-time head coach. Here he was the play caller a year ago. How he's able to utilize all his quarterbacks. He said it's normal for us. It's normal for us to play Eli Jenkins, our backup quarterback, and now you see Christian LeMay in there after Shortell to get some experience. They normally split up the reps during the week. The starter gets about 60%, and the 2 backups get about 20%, and that's the state of normalcy for Jacksonville State.
J.D. Williams with the catch, and spent 25 years as a high school coach in Alabama, and he said, you know, I didn't have the luxury of having, I was looking for 1 quarterback, let alone 2 or 3, and he feels as though he has that at Jacksonville State. Bill Clark spent 1 year as a head coach at Jacksonville State. He was hired at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, as their new head coach. And so John Gross was elevated, played at Jacksonville State, class of 1990. And Williams once again up top. And Williams is driven out of bounds. With 7:37 to go, Demetrius Cox is right there as he pushes them out of bounds. Well, you come out of this game if you're Michigan State, and you hope that all's okay with Connor Cook as he took that tough hit from Folo Johnson. You hope that everything's okay with Jeremy Langford and Travis Jackson, and now add to the mix Kings as well.
Yeah, certainly Jeremy Langford is the one of biggest concern, because it looked like Connor Cook, and that looked like a devastating hit. Don't know what the knee, the swelling, all those things. There has to be some soreness, but he looked like Plastic Man from really the Fantastic Four, because the knee's supposed to bend forward, not backward. But you're always careful with injuries, especially to key players, and we'll have to see how they feel tomorrow in terms of their soreness, rehab, and maintenance that you have to do all week to get ready for a huge game next week against Oregon.
Craig Evans, true freshman, comes in out of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, right outside of Madison, and he gets a stop. Records a tackle, 45-7 with 6:45 at accounting, as LeMay is under center from tonight. And I know it's difficult because it's been a dominant performance against Jacksonville State, but what are your takeaways? A flag down with what you've seen from Michigan State.
I think they're going to be tough to defend.
False start. Offense, number 89, 5-yard penalty. Remain second down.
I think Michigan State is going to be very tough to defend defensively. Their offense is so much more explosive than what it was a year ago. They can just do more. They have more packages. Their quarterback can handle more. He sees the field. And defensively, I think Michigan State, I think they know they're not where they need to be, but it's still pretty dominant. They've got the athletes who can run and fly to the football, executing the system. So I still think they'll create turnovers like tonight. They'll get the sack totals and really shut down a lot of teams' run games.
LeMay to the air, and the pass is picked off. Third interception of the night. Michigan State defense coming up big as Nick Tompkins with the interception. Michigan State, the defense with a turnover here. It's 45-7. Michigan State 45, Jacksonville State 7. Shalik Calhoun has sacked tonight at a loss of 24 on his sack. Terry under center on the handoff to Holmes. Holmes outside and past the 20-yard line before Hill brings him down, and there's a flag down on the play.
Content to grind out the clock right now. Going to play some power football, 4-minute offense.
Holding offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
True freshman Brian Allen, younger brother of Jack Allen from Hinsdale, Illinois.
Half the distance penalty.
But I love situations like this. You've got a young group of players on the field, and that's the situation I just mentioned, the 4-minute offense. Guys, you got to bring it home. 4-minute offense. Young offensive linemen haven't played. They need experience as backups. Here you get a holding call. It's one to learn from, but he throws them into the fire right away if you're Mark D'Antonio.
Benny McGowan in at left guard. Here's Terry. And Terry on a keeper. You were talking earlier about the different dimensions, to the offense, and you think about Jeremy Langford with 18 touchdowns, only one returning FBS player, and Ohio State will see him tomorrow from Navy. Keenan Reynolds rushed for more touchdowns last season than Jeremy Langford. He had 31.
Wow.
But we've talked tonight about the depth at wide receiver. We saw it with Tony Lippert, the use of the tight end as well.
It's about being multiple. The more you can do. Michigan State, they can play tight, grinded out football like we're seeing in a 4-minute offense. You want to expand it? Go no huddle, empty. They've got the receivers to do that. They've got athletes in terms of the running back spot to catch the ball in the backfield. Tight ends who can get downfield. If you're a defense and a defensive coordinator, what do you defend? What can you stop? It's just there's so much that they have to defend. Here's a hard-working player tonight.
Yeah, the Duluth Trading hardest working player, Tony Lippert, with the first 2 touchdowns tonight by Michigan State. the ability to run certainly key. Of course, Lippett last season with the game-winning touchdown in the Rose Bowl. 25-yarder in the fourth quarter against Stanford. 15-yard pickup. And continuing to use that clock under 4 minutes remaining for Terry. Mark D'Antonio in his 8th season, coming off of one of the most successful campaigns in the history of Michigan State football. Terry on a handoff and just grinding it out at this point. And Holmes on the carry. BTN Originals brings you the story of the 2013 Big Ten and Rose Bowl champion Spartans. Hear from players and coaches about the magical run to Pasadena. It's Big Ten Elite 2013 of Michigan State football right after the game on BTN. We look forward to it. 2013 of Michigan State football. It's 45-7 here. And so many Michigan State. I mean, right after the first 2 touchdowns already, they're thinking about Eugene. Eugene.
They are excited. There is no doubt about it. It's been a long time for Michigan State to win the Rose Bowl. You mentioned 1988, and I arrived on this campus a year later, and you felt the excitement then. You thought, hey, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. Lo and behold, and it's over 20 years. And Mark D'Antonio, he's done such a fantastic job rebuilding a program here at Michigan State. You just get that sense. It's almost, I don't want to say it's expected every year, because I think they want to build upon their success. And I don't think anybody's complacent, but he keeps that drive alive to keep the program consistent year in and year out, and he has definitely accomplished that.
Monty Medeiros with the 14-yard reception under center. Terry. Handoff. Holmes straight up the middle. And Holmes is going to grind it out. And a pickup of 7 as we head toward 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter.
And it's interesting when you were talking earlier, Matt, about, you know, what do you think Michigan State's improved upon? If they were to get in, say, a shootout with a team, I think Michigan State could go point for point. I feel that about this offense now. They don't want to be in those games. They want their play tough, manage the game, play good defense, and score and grind out the clock, absolutely. But I think if they had to go open it up and chuck it every down, I think they could go point for point for many of the offenses around the country.
Holmes is wrapped up and brought down. And talking to Mark D'Antonio, you know, mentioned it at the top about people doubting them and wants to reaffirm what they did last year. He says, we want to go farther than we've been before. And he said, listen, he goes, you know, if you fly around the earth, he said, then you want to go to the moon.
That's right.
And he said, you just want to, he goes, it's human nature. You want to keep going. And that's what he's been able to do throughout his time here, but then really build off of last year.
The worst trait in football, complacency. The minute you think you've arrived, forget it. Your team is over. And I think that's the one trait he is not allowed in the Duffy Daugherty football building in East Lansing, Michigan. They continue to strive every single year to make greater strides from the year previously. And I think that's their plans this year in 2014. Grinding it out. What an effort by Connor Cook and Michigan State here. 38-0 at halftime. They were dominant, and they win it 45-7. The 8th-ranked Michigan State Spartans as they down Jacksonville State. And next up, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks and Michigan State.